What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Ham Radio Crash Course. Welcome to Saturday. Today we are doing another Patrons Pick. This episode was selected by the patrons, and we're going to be talking about archiving vast sums of valuable information and then making it available in a less traditional way, more like an off-grid network. And we've got a couple of options for different price points and different technical levels. So there should be something in here for everybody. I hope you're excited. I am very excited. So enjoy the memes, and we'll get started real soon. How's it going, everybody? I hope you're having a good Saturday. I hope you played a little bit of radio. To all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day, which is tomorrow. We won't be talking, likely. I'll be hanging out with my fathers and enjoying fatherdom on my own. But anyway, thanks for coming on out for the Saturday live stream. Okay, so the concept is easy. I don't know that I have to kick things off with some kind of a preamble. We're addicted to the internet. The internet is what we grab every time we have a question. We pull up YouTube, pull up Wikipedia, pull up a book, pull up a manual for your radios, download software for your radios. The list goes on and on, right? Well, for some reason, and it doesn't even have to be like some kind of apocalypse situation, but for some reason, maybe you're camping, maybe you're out somewhere, who knows? And you need access to something. A manual, a piece of software, a blah, 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 whatever. It's nice if you have some of this stuff on you, and it's actually kind of really easy to do it. I posted a ton of links down in the description. Some of them are affiliate links to Amazon. Thank you very much if you take the links. But a lot of this stuff is pretty straightforward, but there's also there's a big technical hurdle, and I've avoided the heavy technical options today. We could go into deeper ones in the future, but I think this is a good preface to kind of get people started. A little primer, a little premiere on this, okay? So really quick, this is all the stuff we're going to be covering. And yeah, these are multiple different options for what you can do. Above my head, I'm just using the Clockwork as a reference. We're using Internet in a Box, which is running on that Raspberry Pi in the upper right-hand corner that has a little USB stick in it, right? USB stick's got all the files that we want, and there's also some stuff on the Raspberry Pi. So that's kind of the whole get up and go of all of this, and we'll be walking through all of it individually. If you'd like to help support the channel, go to hamtactical.com and buy yourself some merch. Check out some of the cool stuff my wife has made based off of the inside jokes that we have on our podcast and, of course, in the channel, like the cat cups. Who's a longtime podcast listener, you know what cat cups are. Anyway, all right. So first, I think the big thing is, what the heck do you want to, save? Well, it's going to vary for lots of different people, but here is a really good repository of information in Zim format. Zim format is kind of like an e-publication format or like an ebook reader, PDF type of thing, right? There's a lot of really good downloads here, like Wikipedia is right there. I really like this thing called Gutenberg here at the top. Gutenberg is Project Gutenberg, and these are broken down in languages. So if you scroll down to EN, for instance, it's a 72 gigabyte download, this one right where my cursor's at, right? Those are all the English books that are free to download off of Project Gutenberg, and you can just click the Zim, start the download, and come back 11 hours later, and you'll have your file, right? Now, if you are willing, you can find torrents for a lot of this stuff. Torrent downloads are often a more effective and efficient way to get access to a lot of this information, so I highly recommend you avail yourself of that. Just get these by torrenting instead of depending on this one server and crippling it, because me just making this live stream is going to go blow this thing up right now, most likely, okay? But so the assumption is you captured your files, right? So some things that come to mind: throw WSJTX, JSA call, all the manuals for all the radios you take into the field. I would also add Dimension 4 to that list, or the Windows BT TimeSync. If you have one of those little USB dongles, I have that on all my computers, particularly ones that I take in the field. But it's nice to have a backup of a backup, and you might want to throw it on a USB stick, right? Right? Makes sense. Makes sense? Okay, hopefully. Go ahead and post your questions as we go through this, because there's a lot we're going to cover as we make our way through. All right, so another reference. That's weird. Hey. Show me the images. Open Library is something else you can go to find books. I don't know why the images aren't there, but there you go. There is also Project Gutenberg, as I mentioned. There is a ton of books in Project Gutenberg, and they're really, really good, so check that out. Also, I'm not doing this because of this device, this video, but I stumbled upon Isaac at T-Rex Labs talking about this. And while I think this is a novel approach, and I think it's cool what they're doing, the problem I have with this is it's fairly locked in time, and it's pretty expensive. $300 for what is tantamount a Raspberry Pi Zero that you can pick up for $20 and a smile off of Amazon, and factoring in how kind of poor performer the Raspberry Pi Zero is. I think there are better options, and in fact, the one that I'm going to start out with is one that I think is going to be like the most effective. Oh, somebody's complaining about bitrate? Refresh the live stream. It looks like good. It looks good on my side. If you guys have a problem, let me know. Okay, so I'm not going to say go get the $300 thing, but the one advantage of this is that all the work's done for you, right? So a lot of what we're talking about today is you doing the legwork to make this all work, okay? So there, just wanted to mention that to get that out of the way. Yeah, Raspberry Pi Zero is cool because it's small, but yeah, anyway, okay, there you go. There's another option as well. This is WROL Pi, which I think is a funny name. I didn't experiment with this today, but I did include it in the link of for all my description, or the video description, because this might be something for you to experiment with, and it looks pretty good. Okay, so the primary ones that we're going to be playing around with are Internet in a Box and Kiwix. So Internet in a Box. So Internet in a Box is a Raspberry Pi image. If you are familiar with Raspberry Pis, then you just download it, flash it using the Raspberry Pi Imager is my recommendation now. Make sure you use that and load it into a Pi. I'll show you how to run that in a second, but you at least have to do the imaging. Make sure that you use Raspberry Pi Imager, and that's good to go. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to set up Wi-Fi. You don't have to do all of that. That device does it for you. And then Kiwix. Now I'm gonna show Kiwix, but I spent some cash here to try and test out all these different options. Kiwix has a $100 one-time, 1-month access to their service where you can go in and actually build a Raspberry Pi flash image, and you can set it for everything you want, right? So you can add Wikipedia, TED Talks, Gutenberg library, and I've done that. I've gone in and added all that stuff, and I'll show you what it looks like. But for $99 to build up a flash that is kind of frozen in time at that point, and maybe not having the mental capabilities or the skill yet, you haven't trained up on how to do this, to update it is maybe something you might not want to do, because it is kind of expensive. But if you had to do a bunch of these, then that might be the way to go, right? Okay. The other thing that I will mention is the companion library. I will show that off in a little bit. Oh, that's not it. Was that what it was? Burp, burp, burp. I dropped the link in the description, I believe, but I'll come back to it because we're going to show it live here in a second. But anyway, that's another reference point for different PDF files and information that you can get your hands on. So it's pretty handy. Now, the first thing, and this is where I think most people will have the most usage, most best capabilities here, is this pocket-sized Wi-Fi 6 wireless gigabit router. And the reason for that is it supports network-attached storage. And you can set that up by plugging a USB stick into the back of this thing, and you can access these files over its network. Now, you can connect this to the internet using an Ethernet adapter or an Ethernet cable, but if you don't have Ethernet and you're out in the middle of nowhere, there's no internet, you can just use this as a local Wi-Fi. And that allows you to serve a myriad of your own computers and maybe people that are passersby, or you're just in a communal area where there's lots of people. You can just set this thing up and people can grab whatever files they're interested in doing. So $83, it's on sale right now. This is probably the high side of a lot of this. Raspberry Pis, particularly the ones that we would be working with in this case, are a little bit cheaper than that as well. Now, as far as SD cards, okay, so SD cards, there's like so much discussion on which SD cards are the best for Raspberry Pis, all that stuff. SanDisk Extreme Pro is going to be one of the better ones. 256 gigs for $29 is pretty good. And if you kick that up to 512, it doesn't get that much more expensive. It's, I think, 50. It just doubles it. It's like $50 for the 512. I went with 512 on one of mine because that allowed me to run both Wikipedia, the Project Gutenberg English books, all of my manuals, my files, my companion library thing that I got, and then have space left over in case I wanted to add more and change it, etc., etc. Okay. Now, USB sticks and SD cards, people get into this discussion of which one's more reliable. Is there a better option, or should you go with one or the other? In my experience and what I've seen online is that generally they're about as robust. Their robustness is the same. You don't get much better performance with a stick over an SD micro along those lines. While they do make extremely hardened versions of SD cards and USB sticks, it's not going to be that different. And those are more on the periphery, the extreme side of all of this, right? So keep that in mind. With that said, if you have a USB stick and you're shoving it into the side of computers, it's sticking out, you bump into it, you break it, that can be a failure point, right? So USB sticks are good because they're convenient, but at the same time, they may not be very reliable in the sense that you break it or something along those lines, okay? And yeah, internet in a box, we got that. There's Kiwix. Okay, so let's show you this network device first and give you a little bit of a demonstration on how it all works, because I think for a lot of you, once you load up your SD card, it's going to be the probably the most useful, right? Okay, let's take a look. So this is a myriad of equipment here. You can see some Raspberry Pis and some other stuff along those lines, but this is the router, right? So it's pretty small, and it's got these fold-down antennas. You can pack it up pretty nice. You can pop a LAN or WAN connection in there if you wanted to hardwire something, but we're mainly going after this USB 3.0 port, okay? Hey, Arthur, thanks so much for being a member. 25 months, really appreciate it. Thanks for that. So my little Pi's running over here. I'm just going to remove my SD card or my USB stick. Hopefully you didn't blow it up. And I'm going to get rid of the clockwork for a second because I think it might be better if we show you via the Jankopotamus. So that's all we do here. Plug it in, and I'm going to find a power connection. In this case, if you want to go truly off-grid, I have a Denko 12-volt battery into a Tuftelin PD out, and it has an in and out plug, so in 12 volts, out comes PD power distribution power, and we just go into the device like that, and it should start lighting up there. And it did. Good? Good. Okay, we're going to let that sync up for a second as we pull out our Jankopotamus, and I hook it up to my network card here. Or not my network card, my display. So the advantage of going this route is it's just a simple shared network drive, if you will. So if you wanted to plug in a spinning drive, if you wanted to plug in an actual SD hard drive versus this, that, or the other, that would work great for that. So that was kind of the idea behind, or at least what I thought was going to be a better option for a lot of folks. All right. So if we did that right, let's see here. All right. So here is my Jankopotamus, and I am going to go join the Wi-Fi, assuming it's on, which it looks like it's not on. Okay, yeah, it's connected to internet in a box, which is my Raspberry Pi, so let's give that a second here. One of the things with this device is sometimes you got to give it a minute to get cooked up here. There it is. Okay, so the password and the SSID are on the router. You can change it if you want to within the controls for this device. I did put the IP address of the router on top there, and I'll show you why I did that in a second here as a label for anybody that's curious. Because we're going to show you how to set up file sharing on this. I mean, I'd like to once it joins. Yeah, this is all very simple. I'm not doing anything very complicated. I'm not going to have you do scripting or anything along those lines. It's very straightforward. So all we've had to do is join a network at this point, right? So okay, we are now on the Wi-Fi network for the box, and we need to go to it, and we'll double check 192.168.8.1, I believe. Yeah. And what did I set the password to? I'm going to move this off for a second. Oh, hold on. Let's go back to that for a second. Okay, got it. Hey, thank you, Zachary. Says, great topic. I'm actually doing my PhD dissertation on this very topic, SHTF no internet. I plan to serve out these libraries and similar over ham radio protocols. Now, you and I should talk in the future when you get further down the line, because I'm curious how you're going to serve up this this file. That would be these files. That'd be really, really helpful to do that. So let me know. Reach out, okay? Because I know we've got a myriad of digital modes that we can actually transfer files with, but anyway, okay, so now we're connected to the router. Assuming you only have to do this once is to set this up. So we're going to go to, where is it? Applications, network storage. Yes, go. Hello. Oh my God. Of course. We're live. It must fail. What's going on with you? Are you alive? Yeah? Looks like it. Uh-oh, we killed it. Oh, it switched back. That's why. We had a bit of a... There we go. Okay, good. Jesus. See, things like this happen. No big deal. Don't get flustered. And we go to network storage. There we go. Okay, so all I've done is enabled Samba, however you want to call it. Shared folders is going to be that USB stick that I plugged in, okay? So that's what I'm showing. Disk management, that's what I'm giving. And then users, this is just the stock user. I didn't change that. But you should probably change it if you want. Or you can just make it a read-only access. And you can go in here and change, just make it nothing. Or you could post it somewhere on a little card to give access to it, blah, 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 whatever. So that's it for setup. You plug the USB stick in. We're now on the network for this thing. And if I go to my files and I go to network, I should see my device, which is this GLMT3000. And there's DIS1 part 1. And if we bring that up, there it is. There's my USB stick. My companion library is all of these different types of books broken up into different categories and topics. So if we went to communication and signaling, for instance, and we scroll down to, let's see, here is a dipole, like that, right? Or where's a practical antennas? Let's go check that out. So we have a PDF reader in the form of our browser. This is all offline. Hey, there you go. 16 practical VHF, UHF antennas, right? When was this made? This was Radio Communication Handbook. I don't see a date on it, though. Anyway, so there's that. Now, in parallel to that, or in addition to, that's just PDF files. This is super easy. If we go to, I saved off into documents, my Kiwix. Kiwix is another reader type of software, and you would load it on your computers, on your phones, on your whatever. And I have Wikipedia already linked here, but I think it's on a different device. So I'm going to go back into folders. I'm going to go to network. I'm going to go to the GLMT3000. Go to DIS1 or part 1, DIS1 part 1. And I'm going to go to Wikipedia. And there's my Zim file. So when you download Wikipedia and you get this huge, huge file, it's going to be in Zim format. And Zim format is the type that Kiwix expects. So just for reference, the English Wikipedia that I downloaded is 100 gigabytes, so pretty big. So if I hit open, it's going to spaz out for a second, and Kiwix is going to look like it's dead because it's literally trying to link to a 100 gigabyte file. Okay, so now, is this dead? Yeah, it's doing its thing. Give it a second. It's going to space. Hey, thank you, Pancakes Hobo. Appreciate you. We might have killed that. So while it's doing its thing, we'll come back. But you have access to Wikipedia that way on the first setup. No, it's not going to download. Well, you guys are talking about something else. But when you set up it as a file location, it's not going to download. It's just going to access it because it's a part of your network attached storage. Okay, well, we'll just assume that it's there because it does work. But we're going to access that in a different way. So I'm going to power down the laptop for a second because we're going to access this in a different way. So I don't need my router now, so I'm just going to unplug it, take my USB stick out, stow my router. I've given my files to friends and family and random strangers. So I'm going to plug in my stick again. We're going to see if this works. I've never actually done it this way. And I'm going to pull back my clockwork here. So this is Internet in a Box running on an image right here, which is on my Raspberry Pi 4. I have a Raspberry Pi 5 that I also have Kiwix running on, which we'll get to in a little bit. In fact, I'll plug this in while we're waiting just so we can not have to wait too long. So I'll let it do its thing. But we're going to take a look at Internet in a Box first. Raspberry Pi 4 is pretty much all you're really going to need. I don't really recommend you going above Raspberry Pi 4 because Pi 5s are pretty expensive right now. And while the Pi Zero is certainly cute and novel, the downside that you get is it's pretty slow. Comparison between the two is obviously size is ridiculous, but it's just not that fast. And I'll show you what I mean in a little bit. Okay, so Internet in a Box here is an image that we have running on our Pi. And it's just a website, right? So with this, we have I've joined the Wi-Fi of my Raspberry Pi, and I've gone to box.local, and it pulls up this website, okay? Now, a lot of this stuff may not be that interesting to you. Like the Zim stuff, don't worry about that right now. If you had internet, you could download maps and satellite photos. There's Khan Academy Lite, which as a dad of young boys, like Khan Academy is actually pretty good for education stuff. There is, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah. What I think is pretty cool, though, is, let's see if this is going to mount my USB stick. Oh, it might have. Let's see. So yeah, there's my companion library. Those are my files. So radial manual. Let's bring up one of these. And there you go. This is on the coming off the Raspberry Pi 4. So it's pretty quick. It's pretty snappy. And yeah, so you'll now have access to your files that way. Now let's go ahead and go back here to Internet in a Box. Now WordPress, this is what I thought was really, really interesting about this is if you go to WordPress, so with this set up, I have a blogging capability on the local network. So this is somewhat of a novelty, but I think it's pretty cool that you could potentially have news updates, blogs, etc., when you're off grid. And you can do that via this this application, Internet in a Box, which is pretty slick. I think that was really cool. You could link to files then. You could have your explanation on how to do things. It's not exactly a wiki, but it's nice in the sense that you can have something that's a bit searchable. It's a blog, so you could write how-tos. Blogs are pretty portable, particularly with WordPress, so that you could actually archive off another blog and add it into this, and you'd be good to go. So I found that pretty cool. Okay, next one. What do we want to do next? Let's go ahead and see if we can join our little friend, the Raspberry Pi 5. So to do that, right, so that was the 4, running internet in a box. Now we want to go to Kiwix, which I'll show you how that works as well. Same concept, right? We're doing the same stuff here. It's nothing any more complicated than that. So we're going to go over to Kiwix, HRCC Kiwix. You see that? And I will run through demonstrating it on Android as well. This is a Raspberry Pi. Actually, this Clockwork device is a Raspberry Pi 4. I believe it's Raspberry Pi 4. What is that interstellar what are you saying, man? I didn't catch that. I agree, Don. I am also very organizationally challenged, but as long as you keep making new folders, I've found you look like you know what you're doing. So I create new upper level, high level folders and then go from there. So, okay, we should be on this guy now. We are. All right, so the name of the access point. Oh, what happened? Go back. Sometimes the Pi will do that. It'll try to join the network that has internet, and it'll go to that and favor that instead of staying on the one you had up, even if there's no internet. Kind of. Wait, where's the question? The tin can ham, kind of. So, internet in a box, which is what we're on right now, is running on this Raspberry Pi. It's an image that you download. My archive of files is on the stick. And with this, you can download to any device you want if you join the Wi-Fi network for the Pi. I have a series of different images here, Kiwix and Internet in a Box images, that I can put in any Pi and turn them on, and I have access to the files and access to the file system, right? So in particular, this guy is running a 500 gigabyte SD card with a fully loaded Kiwix on it, which we're going to join right now. So hopefully, let's see, did it die? Yeah, it died. Come on now, buddy. There we go. Nope, we're good. Okay. He just needed a little moment. All right, so now we're going to go to http:// Can you guys see that? You can't see it yet. Okay. //HRCC dash Kiwix. Oh, you know what? There's another way of doing this that is going to be more effective, I think, but I'll get to that in a second. Kiwix dot hotspot. Okay, so there's our Kiwix. So now we are on the Raspberry Pi 5. Let me get this a little bit zoomed in for you there. Good, good, good. And these are all broken up into different areas as well, right? So TED Talks, Apocalypse Survival Guide, which is, whatever. I just put it there for more information purposes. Signal processing, Project Gutenberg, books in English, survival manual, trail sense, Wikipedia. So if we go to Wikipedia, let's pull this guy up. We have Wikipedia. Right? Come on, bud. There we go. Every middle schooler's favorite, ancient Egypt. Let's go there. Now, this is a full fat, what they call maxi Wikipedia, and I'll go back and show you files here. I kind of wanted to give a preface of everything, and then I'll go back and answer questions on, is this a subscription service? kind of, sort of, no, and I'll get to that in a second. I did explain Kiwix does charge you $90 for a month to build this file, these images. And then once you have them built, you just save off a bunch of copies of them, and you're good to go. Wikipedia obviously changes all the time, and there is a way to update it. But Project Gutenberg, the manuals, files, all that stuff is pretty handy, even regardless of how old the file is. So we'll go back to that in a second, Interstellar Sandman. It's a good question, though. So full up Maxi, Wikipedia. Let's go back. Okay. Project Gutenberg, all English books, and it's the whole thing. It's the whole jam. So you have access to everything. Now, keep in mind that this is, I think this is the top 100 ranked. Yeah, this is the top 100. Now, remember, what we're talking about is we're accessing the files on the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is creating a Wi-Fi network that this is connected to. So if I dragged out my Android tablet and I were to go to the Wi-Fi for that device. So now he's going to join the Kiwix. Now, what's cool about this is, let me show you an easier way here. So see how it says sign into the network? It's not secure. So if I click on it, it's going to pop up the website you need to go to. It does it all for you. It's like a hotspot landing page. So if you copy it to clipboard, and then you bring up your browser, in my case, I've got Chrome, and let's make a new tab. So we're just going to add hotspot. There we go. We're now on the same Kiwix. So if we wanted to check out the amateur radio, this is like Stack Exchange, so it's, it can be a little bit outdated information. Looks like 2022 is the last time it was pulled. But it's questions people have asked that are available online, now available on my file, that you have access to. And I think this one's also a Q&A. It is, yeah. I don't know what this should run. Let me see. Yeah. So this also has a... Boop, boop, boop. Oh, it's not going to work because it's... Let's see. There's also apps on here that you can download to give you more information. Survival manuals, a literal library of different things. So let's go to basic medicine. And you get a big, long... I don't know what basic medicine has to do with food and hygiene. That's interesting. This is very basic. There you go. Breathing problems. Severe bleeding, shock, life-saving steps, open the airway. I don't know what are we looking at there? Oh, it's a human head. There you go. Okay, cool. Now, a couple of notes before I go back and I talk through some of the little details. If you want this to be off-grid, I'm kind of cool with doing like a solar setup for this. I think the PowerFilm Solar, maybe not even the Maxi, maybe the mini one, would be just fine for this, and you could like leave this connected to the unit, powering it. You wouldn't have any problem running. Raspberry Pi 4 is probably going to be fine. This will run forever on a with a Pi Zero, but again, performance is going to be pretty lacking. But it's the same concept. If I take out this SD card from here and put it in this guy, I'll get the same results. It just you may have to make a separate image because it's slightly different with the when you flash it over. But same concept. It's all the same. I have a link to a USB bank that I like that does power delivery. This is the RAV Power, but there's a newer one from Anker that I think is a bit better. It's thinner and cheaper, so that was the one I would recommend. And I have a little guy that works really well too. That got links in the description for that as well. All right, what do we want to talk about next? Let's see. I think that was the big ones. We'll come back over here now. All right, so let me show you the breakdown on some of these files so you have a better idea of what to do. So when you go back to the beginning here, yeah, this is it. So this is that Zim link that I have in the video description. And basically, you have access to, let's go to Wikipedia, for instance. Okay, so Wikipedia has a ton of different languages that it's ported into, and then it has a couple of different options for files as well. So you want to pick ones that are going to match how much file access you have, how long it's going to take to download, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to scroll down to EN, Wikipedia EN for English. You can see there's just so many different types of, so many different languages that this is all ported to. All right, so even within the language, you then have a ton of different options, and you can see in megabytes, and then it jumps up to gigabytes. So the one I have is this Wikipedia English All Maxi 2023, November 2023. So a little older, right? Actually, I take that back. I've got the one below it, which is January 2024. So these get updated periodically. Now, Maxi is going to be everything, basically. It's going to be full articles with images, the whole 9 yards. If you go with a Mini, it's going to be smaller, different data type. It'll get rid of some of the images, some of the formatting. And then you can go with No Pic, which is going to be a maximum article, but no pictures. And so with no pictures, that cuts it down almost 50 gigs. Yeah, exactly 50 gigs. So that might be the way to go for a lot of folks, because you don't need pictures a ton of times with Wikipedia. It's not really required. So yeah, that's, oh, there you go. Anker 737 is 41% off right now on Amazon for a PD power bank. There you go. I'm so glad Josh has friends to share his latest obsessions with. When he told me about this, I asked, how do you make a bigger coverage area? And he said, everything doesn't have to be bigger. Well, it's Wi-Fi, right? You got to move data. Now, Leia, your point is sound in that, and actually it goes to the PhD student that was earlier in the comments. There are ham radio applications like VAR-AC. VAR-AC is a person-to-person text chat over HF that does allow you to do file transfers. Now, what would be nice is if there was a way to give it like a table of contents of all your files, and then a user could connect to you, request a file using like a unique ID, and then you transmit it to them. That would be a very novel approach with how a lot of this should be done. I think that would be really, really cool. Yeah, Vara is kind of the spot for what you might want to do transfers with if you wanted to do file transfers in the sense of over the radio, not over Wi-Fi, right? So if you think about in some kind of vision in my head, right, where you've got your computers in like an EOC or your home network or whatever, and there's no internet, all of your computers could connect to this network device with whatever it is, whether it's your Kiwix, or it's your internet in a box, or it's your network attached storage on the back of the router. And then you could just take those files to your shack, your shack computer, right, over Wi-Fi, and then you could use that to send them out over the air if you needed to, right? Exactly. What's the frequency? Yeah. So if anybody remembers Packet BB, so there is a thing called a Packet BBS. And what we would do with Packet BBSs is we would leave messages in people's inboxes, and then you'd come back later, you'd query the messages in your inbox, and then you'd download them for reading. That's exactly what this would be like. Yeah. Share it through an Arden mesh node. There you go. Yeah, that's the next step. That would be the next step is get these files on an Arden mesh, which I can do actually with my with one of my devices, and then you'd be sharing it over Arden. So that would be the next step. You nailed it exactly. If this is something you guys are interested in, then I will do an update where we get it all on Arden, and we could set up some tunnels. We'd be tunneling over the internet. But anybody that was around me, I've got a pretty powerful dish, and then bang, we can send data directly. Free data. Let's use share files in a directory. Yeah, but over the radio. That's what I'm interested in. But we can do that over Arden, which would be really pretty cool, I think. Yeah. Okay, let me show you the Raspberry Pi. Let's do this. Let me go up to Raspberry Pi Imager. This is the utility you want. It'll work. It's on everything, I believe, now. I mainly use this on my Mac, but yeah. So let's go ahead and get it from the downloads. We're going to get it for Windows. I thought I already had it. I don't know what the deal is there. Anyway, no big deal. So while we're doing that, I'm going to grab the WROL Pi. Why not? And maybe? Download. Pi server, Pi desktop. I think you need the server. So we'll go to downloads. So the way this works is it's pretty straightforward. Let's see. We've already got the file downloaded. Yeah. Let me go here. So I will choose my device, and let's say I was just doing a Raspberry Pi 4. It's really, why is that so small? I can't embiggen the font for you all. I apologize. So Raspberry Pi 4. OS, so it's going to try and throw Raspberry Pi OS on there. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you go to Use Custom, and then you point it at your downloads. Buddy, where is it? Is it downloading? Oh, that's why it's still downloading. We got 4 minutes left, so we'll have to come back to that. But yeah, you would then just link it to or connect it to the actual image using your just preferred option, and then give it your location for your SD card, and it'll just flash the whole thing, and you shove it in the Raspberry Pi. It's very easy. Oh, thanks, Interstellar Sandman. That's very nice of you. Thank you for the super chat. Very kind. Speaking of helping hams around the world, after we get done with the live stream here, I'm going to start up the after chat, and the after chat is another live stream, but its focus and goal is to answer your questions. We do that right up in the beginning, whether you're on YouTube or X or Twitch or on our Discord. Link is in the video description for our Discord. We will answer all your questions to the best of our ability using the very, very smart people that we have in the house. So make sure you join us over there. It's always a lot of fun. I'll post a live stream after this live stream for you to get access to that. So right on. Let's see. Is there anything else I'm missing? There's probably a bunch of stuff. Let's go back here. Yeah, Raspberry Pi 4 is $60, which you decide, right? You got two options here. You can go the Raspberry Pi route in doing like the internet in a box, or you could get the router. The cool thing about the router is going to work for you in many situations that aren't this off-grid sharing. The router actually has a bunch of applications beyond what I showed you for just network-attached storage via Samba. You can do VPN with it. You can do some other stuff as well, which means it's a really good travel router. And since it runs off of USB-C, 5 volts, I think 2 or 3 amps, it's really, really novel for just kind of bringing with you in case you need much better Wi-Fi. So if you've ever decided that you'd maybe disconnect the Cat5 cable from the back of the television in your hotel room, you could plug it into that thing and you could get good Wi-Fi with it. Yeah, you're right. Well, let's see. Hold on. Ham Radio Wilderness with Frank. Yeah, so that's a true statement. Where is my Pi 5? There's. So the problem with the Pi 5s right now is you're not wrong. It's $20 more if you're lucky. Right now on Amazon, it's actually $90, and it is better. It's better in a lot of ways. But if performance is why you'd be buying the 5, and you're going to pay $35+ on that. You don't really need that. It doesn't need it to run this type of stuff for serving up this information. Right? Okay. There you go. For people that already have Raspberry Pi 4s, you don't need to go with a Raspberry Pi 5, I guess is where I'm saying as well. So if you've already got one, don't worry about it. There's the power bank that I mentioned. But somebody said, what was the 757 is on sale? We should pull that up. Anker 737. Oh, Amazon, why do you do this? It did it again. I'm literally clicking. Stop. I don't see it. The charger or the power bank? This guy? Power bank? That's a carrying case. All right, I'll trust you on it. What VPN technology is it? Good question. We can pull that up. I'll pull that up right now. All right, guys, come with the questions if you got them. I'll take them because we're coming to the end here. And let's see, anything else I didn't hit? Oh yes, where is Tuftelin? Yeah, the really cool off-grid stuff that Tuftelin has is, let's see, where's the power stuff at? Yeah, right here. So with this, you can go from a 12 volt to a USB-C. With this guy, you can go from a power bank, so USB-C power bank, to 12 volts, the other direction, and they work really, really well. And he has a number of battery packs as well. This guy's pretty cool. Where's the 12 volt to USB-C? So it's just an inline. It's literally in that little dongle piece right there, and it comes out to an Anderson power pole and then goes into your radio right there. It's super tiny, and it runs off of a power bank. So links are in the description for that as well. I'm not affiliated with Tuftelin other than I just really like their stuff. Off-Grid Pete, thank you, buddy. I didn't know if there'd be people interested in this, so I'm glad. I hope you guys are... I hope somebody dropped the 73. You guys keep saying 737 like I'm looking. Where is it? I want to give you guys the deals. 737 is $59 right now. You're not talking about the charger, right? You're talking about the power bank, right? Somebody go on Discord in the live stream and drop the link so I can pull it up. Let's see. Which router? Great question. It's linked in the video description. It's this guy. It's this little travel router. It does a whole host of things. There you go. Oh, that guy. $88. 24,000 milliamp hour. Oh, dude. How many do you got of these? All right, well, everybody calm down, okay? Don't just go off and buy it without getting my affiliate link. I'm going to do that right now. Hold on. Let me grab you the affiliate link. Let me drop the affiliate link. Don't go nuts. Don't do anything hasty. All right, there you can go check it out. Links in the video description or the chat. That is a smoking good deal. How many ports does it have? 2 USB-C? How big is it? I need a reference size. Oh, that's not that bad. That's a little big. It's a little bit of a chungus there. That's a little big boy. Thank you, buddy. Oh yeah, K-Booty. Appreciate you, man. I'm glad you like that. All right, let's pull up don't buy cheap gear with fake ratings. Oh, is it not good? Justin Moyer, see, that's the thing. You got to tell me what your idea of off-grid is, because off-grid means connected to a service. Your power company, your internet provider, those are services. That's the grid. You're paying the service. Off-grid means you're on your own. If you supply Wi-Fi and you can exchange files, that's still off the grid. You're supplying your own power, network, right? Right? Any arguments there? Tell me. I'd like to hear them. Let's see. Oh, there. If you get Mike's approval on a battery, that's cheers to that. Audio Bookshelf is also great self-help. Oh, very good. That's funny. You win the tech nerd joke of the day. Air gap is off grid. All right, let's do a quick thing for. This might be better in the after chat, but we'll do it live. We'll do it live. Oh, it's not even on. You know what, Don? We're gonna do it in the after chat. I changed my mind. Sorry, buddy. I'll get it set up and it'll be ready to go for the after chat. Yeah, let's go ahead and disconnect this guy. I'll let it get set up and we'll check it on the. Yep, it's getting lit up. It's getting lit. Question, did you notice Adam's capacitive CW key screws on his 1 pound POTA pack, and could you find out how he made that? Well, if you join us on the Discord after chat, he may be in the chat room and you can ask him yourself, but he has he usually adds a capacitive touch circuit to the inside of the radio to be able to do it. To the C battery converter. Tuftelin. This guy. The converter to go from 12 volt. Yeah, Jarvik, if you go down and join us, if you go down to the Discord link, you can join right now, and if he's in there, you can just ask him before we get started. It gets deeper and deeper, way down. In the details, 59737 is really a 727. In the details, the 59. Oh, man. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Mike, for dropping that. Tuftelin.com, but it's also in the video description. Check it out. Okay, let's see what time it is. Oh, we've got a couple of minutes, but I'll go ahead and play the Patreon roll here as questions come in. Feel free to ask anything to wrap things up here. Otherwise, save it for the after chat because we'll be live again in a couple of minutes. And this was a vote, or voted upon by our producers, our channel backers over on Patreon. This is what beat out Meshtastic, this topic. So, hey, if you disagreed and you wanted to have me do a big deep dive into Meshtastic, by the way, huge update while I'm doing this, while this is running, I'm going to pull this up. And thank you, patrons. There is a TDEC update that I'm very excited about for Meshtastic. I will find an image for it. It is looking pretty sweet. Where is it? Yeah. That's the stuff right there. Let me save that off. Here we go. Thanks, Alec, for letting me use your image there. All right. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Appreciate all your comments in the video after we get done here. Feel free to leave them. And if there's questions, we gotta come back around and answer them in another video. That's possible. We could do that, or we could do it as part of an after chat. to not derail an entire live stream. Meshtastic. You can build. Yeah, no, that's literally what we're talking about. The update to the TDEC is exactly that. It's a Meshtastic update for a device that's an all-in-one unit, and the update is going to be insane. So cool. So I'm going to show you what it looks like in 1 second once we finish up with the patrons. Again, thank you, patrons. Thank you for your continued voting on these cool ideas and telling me what you actually want to see instead of me just flailing around. That's the new update for the TDEC. That's what it's going to look like. It's going to have a better menu, because right now there's no menu on the TDEC. You have to use the phone app. You have to tether to it to do settings changes and all that stuff. This is killer. This is going to be killer on the TDEC. And if you mate the 8,000 amp hour, yeah, that's right, LiPo battery that you can shove into the back of this thing, it'll run like all week. Blue skies, indeed. Yeah, that's what this TDEC update will do. Is the TDEC is relatively inexpensive, and doing a couple of things, adding GPS, adding a better battery, makes this the killer solution. Notice that's above a Mac keyboard. Yeah. Yeah, BlackBerry's got ripped apart. They all got ripped apart to become TDECs. That's what we did. Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm hoping to try and get an early access to the firmware, but it's looking pretty cool. So likely next month when Patron Picks rolls around again, because I'm now caught up. Thanks everybody for being patient. I'm now caught up. When that rolls back around, we'll probably get to Meshtastic, which means I'm covering all of my setup. I'm covering all the devices I have. I'm going to tell you which ones I like the most. I'll probably do some pre-work and go do some range testing. I'll take like a Heltec, a TDEC, and T-Beam, and a number of other ones using the same antenna to see if they all perform the same. I'm kind of curious about myself for range testing. Yeah, Don, that is a really interesting thing, because you basically need to go solar, but some of the solar options are not fantastic, and we need to talk about that. Devin, yeah, man. So that's not only have I already shot some video with it, I am going to have the one and only Jason KM4ACK back, and he's going. This is already running 73 Linux. I don't know if anybody caught that. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can show you real fast. So this is running 73 Linux. This is running his script, which means all the amateur radio software is already loaded on this. By the way, guys, if you had any wherewithal, any interest in porting to Linux, or at least, maybe go get yourself, maybe set up this, set up your files archive with Kiwix and whatever. Have all your Wikipedia stuff loaded in your Raspberry Pi, make a backup of that image, but then load 73 Linux on top of that. And that's something now. You got all your information on that SD card, plus you've got all the amateur radio software. But we're going to have Jason come back on the show, and he's going to show us how to set up all the user stuff you have to do. For instance, I've never been successful in getting WinLink to run on this. WinLink Express is not an application for Linux. It doesn't exist. You have to use a different software, which Jason has got pretty much all figured out here. And he's going to show us how to do it in a quick and easy way that it's Jason, of course. He's going to have like the slickest way of doing things. So I'm really excited about that. Fantastic question. You'd have to ask Jason. I don't know what he supports right now. Remember, 73 Linux is a script that you run, and it does the installs. So I don't know if it supports ARM. I'm guessing if you've got the, I don't know. I don't want to, because the applications might not support ARM. I do, actually. Yeah, so JPEG 503, if you go to one of the previous videos that I made, in fact, let me see if I can just pull it up for you. There is a video I did on my upgrades to the TDEC. I think so. Let me see. Didn't I? Or is that a video I haven't posted yet? Which is entirely possible. It's entirely possible. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I haven't posted that video. See, sometimes I make videos and I forget that I haven't even posted them. So I've got a video over on the right sides over there. You see the getting started with Meshtastic fast, upgraded Meshtastic. I did an upgraded video on my Heltec. So I took them from the stock configuration to those really nice 3D printed cases. I added an internal battery. I added a GPS to it. Those are like killer. I had a great time with them at Hamvention. But the T-Decks now, they're even easier. They're even easier to do. So I'm probably going to end up doing another video for that. I've already kind of started one, but yeah, anyway. Cool. All right, guys, that'll do it. I had a ton of fun making this one. I hope you did too. And I hope you leave me your comments on this video if you made it this far. Let me know you made it this far. I'd love to hear that. I'm going over to the after chat. I hope you join us over there. The link is in the video description for our Discord, and I will be live again here shortly. Give me a couple minutes to flip everything over and get ready for the next live stream. I'm Josh KI6NAZ 73. How did we get back up to 400? That was crazy. We dropped to 360 and then we shot back up to 400 viewers. Thanks. Well, for all you 400, don't run away too far because we're going to be back on live and I don't know. Who knows? Oh, yeah, we got to do the thing for Dawn with the VPN. I'll get that squared away before we get started. We'll talk about that Anker. Hopefully Mike joins us to give his initial thoughts on it or his, I don't know, primary thoughts. Okay. Join us, won't you?